Alexandra Paterson.
And who are you a part of?
CTM Called To Move.
Sweet. And so what's your artwork?
My artwork is painting, drawing, or sketching.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a senior at Simpson University and a soccer player, and I have always loved art, sketching and drawing. Come from a pretty artistic family, so that has influenced me a lot. And I'm from Cameron Park. It's about a half an hour east of Sacramento, and I mean, it's a fairly typical, nice suburban area. Just raised with my family, and so my parents are very much so okay with the arts, so they would more have encouraged that rather than discourage.
And so back at home, how was your spiritual life influenced at a young age?
Really by my parents. They raised us in a Christian home, and I grew up going to, I think, pretty much the same church I've always gone to. And so having that deep connection with even just being comfortable with the pastor and knowing people there for a long time. And so really it started at home, and just my parents being examples to us and encouraging us and taking us to Sunday school. And then as I got older, wanting a more personal relationship and realizing that I wanted it to be more than just going to Sunday school, about my early teens. And so wanting to change that, and then going on missions trips, and just through my ups and downs in my faith, but just having the stable ground of my parents being solid in that, and always the solid example that we can go to, and through the ups and downs. And so just through whatever stage I'm in, sometimes I'm stronger in my faith than other times, but always being able to go back to where it started.
And so you mentioned trips. We hear you went on a trip to Australia and learned a lot about art there. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
My second semester, sophomore year at Simpson, I studied abroad. I knew coming into college that I always wanted to study abroad. I didn't necessarily know for sure where. But then when looking into the program, I realized that they had in Australia, ASC, Australia Studies Center program. And so it just was really cool to experience being at an art school where they had dancers, graphic designers, theater majors, music majors. And so being able to experience being in an atmosphere like that, as well as getting a chance to just draw or sketch or paint for my classes.
So, how was the art culture in the city itself?
I feel like it was very accepted. Australia is a very laid-back culture, and so I feel like it's like any city in the sense of you have the performers on the streets and just artists around. But particularly at the school, which was outside of Sydney, it was interesting to see different people's art forms and how they went about expressing themselves through their art. And with there, they have a little bit of a influence with the Aborigines culture. And so even though that is a culture that's still trying to find itself necessarily, not very many people, a lot of them have lost their culture because of Western influence, and coming in and settling in Australia. But there's definitely that side of Australia with the outback and the red dirt, and how art is shown in that way through that culture.
And so speak to us about this piece in particular.
This piece was just an idea I had. I love colors, and a lot of the times I don't fully plan out my piece. I honestly just see what happens as I start to paint. And one of the great things about painting is being able to, through just using white or just using water, being able to change the hues within one color, or being able to change the tones. And so that's why I love to just use water and let it blend, or just splatter it and see what happens with it. And with this piece, I had the idea of doing a lot more of blues and greens and kind of like a turquoise as the dominant tone and color. But then with that, the idea of drawing a face, and within the face doing a lot of different colors to kind of symbolize colors of the world and different colors of people. And so even though obviously it's bright and vibrant colors, it's not like the brown or black or white, it's kind of to symbolize the multicultural aspects in the world.
So, in relation to this piece, what do you feel your role in CTM is?
I honestly don't know my role. CTM is giving me the opportunity to paint, to draw, do what I love in a way of using it for God's glory. And so sometimes I have ideas and they correlate with a message or with something deeper than just painting a pretty picture. And so CTM gives me an outlet of showing that and expressing it.
With your painting, how do you feel that you express your love for God through painting?
God is a creative being, and He made us creative beings. Some people argue that that's the one way we can see a correlation between God and humans, is our desire to create. And so whether it's through whatever form of art you particularly enjoy creating, I enjoy painting and drawing and sketching. And so I feel that by painting or just creating, we are worshiping God if we were doing it in a way that's glorifying God, and God wants to bless us. And so by doing something we love, He has given us different talents, and by doing what we love, I think He brings joy in seeing us use our talents for His glory.
By the way, the piece was really great.
Thank you.